Steph and them come back, and Dre was hurt early in the season. But I couldn't play with Steph early in the season. I ended up asking to come off the bench. I was not wired to set a screen, pass up an open shot. Like, if I'm open, I'm shooting it.
Right. That right there is just a small clip from Eric Paschall talking about his experience playing with Steph Curry. Now, I think that's super interesting because you normally only hear people talk about LeBron James like that. Mostly when you hear people talk about Steph, you hear about how great of a leader he is, how fun the environment is. I don't think I've heard anybody talk about how difficult it is to play with him. Most people will say when you think about going to state, how much they play the right way. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to play that full clip of him talking about his experience playing with Steph, and we're going to break it down and see if it's really hard to play with Steph Curry.
Y'all can look at me as mini Draymond. I like to score. And me mentally at that point, I couldn't do it. I'm going in there thinking like, all right, I got my chance. Right. So I'm just hooping. Steph and them come back, and Dre was hurt early in the season. But I couldn't play with Steph early in the season. I'm still going to do me. Like, y'all see what I did last year. Also, I'm thinking, but I can't do that because I'm on the floor with Steph all the time. I ended up asking to come off the bench. I was not wired to set a screen, pass up an open shot. Like, if I'm open, I'm shooting it.
Right.
I'll never forget this. Draymond passes to me. I hit it. But Steph is on the baseline. The next TV timeout comes. This is why I fuck with Draymond, because it was just so real. Like, it was just real. Yo, look, you made the shot, but you got the best shooter in the world on that baseline. Set that pin in. I said, you know what, Dre? I'm not even mad at you. I made this shot. It's a good shot. I'm glad you made it. But you got to step. Next time, kick out. Set that pin in.
So right there, you hear the full clip. He's basically just talking about how you have to really sacrifice yourself and sacrifice your game in order to play well with Steph Curry and fit into the Warriors system. One thing we could do is just think about some of the players who've been there and how they were able to develop. You know, a lot of people like to talk about Kuminga, and people really want that next step from him. But when you think about it, his play style doesn't necessarily fit the Warriors system. He's somebody who he's really great in transition. He should have the ball a little bit more with the freedom to be a little bit more creative. But when you kind of limit what people are able to do, especially creatively, it's hard to progress and grow as a player, especially when you see yourself one way, but the team needs you to be another. Some people feel like that's why Andrew Wiggins isn't same Andrew Wiggins, because he's kind of what he's able to do in that system has been limited. But at the same time, when you think about that Warriors system, that's one of the best offenses, one of the best systems of all time. It's one of the best systems ever, mostly due to Steph Curry. So the fact that you have to play around his strengths, it really makes sense, because the offense is designed for not only him to thrive, but you to thrive off of him. So one part of that clip, he talks about how when Steph and Draymond were hurt, he was able to be free and play however he wanted to, right? That's similar to what D'Angelo Russell just said about how in Brooklyn, he's able to be free and he'll never take that for granted. Because it's not always like that, especially when you're on a team that's trying to win. But Eric Paschall talked about being able to be free, being able to just hoop. And then once Draymond and Steph comes back, all of a sudden it's, no, we don't want you to shoot. We want you to go set screens for Steph because he's the best player on the court. And rightfully so. It makes sense. So at the end, he tells that story about how he gets a pass. He's wide open. He knocks down the shot, and then at the next timeout, Draymond says, hey, I'm glad you made that shot. Steph Curry standing right next to you. Next time, go set that down screen and get him open. And for a lot of players, that's really hard to deal with. So like the people who thrive in that system, when you really think about it, when KD came, it was easy for him because he loves to catch and shoot. He's that type of player. Klay Thompson loves to catch and shoot. He's that type of player. Buddy Hield, when he first got to this team, he looked great early because when he was just catching and shooting, he was making it and he was able to thrive. Those are the type of players that are good in the Warriors system. The truth is, to me, is I feel like the only reason we're hearing this now is because the Warriors haven't been as good. Like when everybody's winning, you normally don't hear a lot of complaints. When LeBron was winning, you normally don't hear a lot about, oh man, it's just so hard to play with LeBron James because they won. Did you want that championship or not? But once they're losing, or once they lose, all of a sudden it's, man, I can't play the way I want to play. I just got to stand in the corner. It's all about LeBron, this, that, and the third. And now that Steph Curry is reaching that point in his career, especially where they feel like, okay, we only got a couple years left for Steph. We got to maximize Steph. Now you're going to start hearing stories like that about how hard it is to play with him. And the thing is this, it's like when you have someone who's that great on the court, the absolute best thing to do is figure out how you can help them. Not about you helping yourself, because it doesn't make sense. You can shoot as good as you want to shoot. You will never shoot as good as Steph Curry. If you play with LeBron, you can handle the ball. You can pass as good as you want to, but you're not ever going to control a game like he does. So it's rightfully so. Stand in the corner with Steph. Rightfully so. Go set a screen for him and then figure out how to score after that. Figure out how to slip. figure out how to play defense, figure out how to run a transition. Because at the end of the day, that's what it takes to win. Now that there's some type of expectation that the Warriors aren't meeting, that's when you're going to start hearing these type of things. That's when the fans start to get mad at the other players, right? The fans love blaming other people. You're never going to blame Steph Curry for the Warriors losing. This year, you're always going to look and say, Buddy Hield, why aren't you making shots? Dennis Schroeder, why can't you? You average this in Brooklyn. Why can't you come do this here? Or for the Lakers, hey, man, you were good in Washington. What happened when you got here? Why can't you hit that open shot when Bron gave it to you? You know what I'm saying? Well, I only took 3 shots this game. But that's just what happens. That's what comes with playing with great players. So I think a lot of it is just, one, yes, it's hard to adjust, but it's also hard to change the way you play, not see the benefit as far as winning championships. Then you're almost kind of lowering your value. So you're thinking about, okay, I got to still perform and get my numbers up so that I can get paid. And at the end of the day, a lot of people forget that this is a game, yes, it's a sport, but these are people playing for millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars if they play well. It's tough to get with. It's tough to figure out and navigate that. But I'm really curious to see how the narrative around Steph Curry is towards the end of his career, as he still wants to be a winning player. Will you guys blame Steph for creating a toxic culture that wants to win now, or will he get to just drift off on a bad team and people still have to play the way he wants to, right? The thing with LeBron is that even in his old age, he hasn't adjusted his play style. He still wants to be the main guy. He still wants to be the dominant ball handler. And it's clear as day to everybody else, hey, look, man, you're 40. You're not the same LeBron. And that's what it is with Steph Curry. Will he be willing to change up his play style, or will Steve Kerr be willing to change the offense? Because especially now, they don't have Klay Thompson, which that actually made the offense be so much better having Klay Thompson. Having players like that maximizes Steph Curry. But now that those players aren't there, will they adjust and change the way Steph Curry plays? Because, like, one thing that's going to happen, or which actually clearly has already happened, people are going to figure out how to guard Steph Curry. They're going to figure out how to guard the Warriors in general. There's a clip from Tyronn Lue talking about how before Kevin Durant got there, he felt like the Cavaliers had figured out the Warriors. That's how they were able to come back, and they felt like moving forward, they had the edge on them because they figured out how to guard it. They know exactly what they're going to do in every situation. All right, when they do this, we'll guard it like this. We'll live with A, B, and C shooting. That's how we're gonna beat this team. They can't handle us. That's where the Warriors are again at this point. Everyone just kind of figured out how to guard them, especially when you don't have other players. So, do you let other people come in and thrive? You know, I wish I could have seen what Jordan Poole would look like if it was just him and Steph Curry right now. Would they let him be free, or would he be a much more controlled game? Again, as you should be when you're trying to win a championship. But it's just interesting, you know, how much of this falls on Steph and how much of this is actually just it's because this is Steve Kerr's offense. The offense is, let's make Steph Curry shine. It's also clear, too, that just when you play with Steph Curry or a player of LeBron James caliber, role players play great with them. People who want to be stars struggle. People who want the ball, people who want to shine, you struggle playing with a great player. Because we already have the star, we don't need another one. How can you be a star in your role? So I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. Do you guys feel like it probably is hard to play with Steph Curry? Is Eric Paschall, do you guys feel like he's just complaining? And if you do feel like it's kind of hard to play with Steph, do you see the similarities when it comes to what people say about LeBron? Do you feel like LeBron is still way worse, just also because of the media and everything that comes with playing with LeBron, how every single year is win now? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be active in the comments, responding to everybody. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I got plenty more videos coming for you guys.